Welcome to RGM. Are you in a band? Come and join us. Simply click on the RGM submission page, submit your music, and we'll sort the rest. We enter into a new year. 2025 is here. The year when I was a kid, everybody would be in flying cars. Everybody would be hovering about, walking about with just heads in a jar. Still living, of course, and with the ability of speech. But we're not quite there yet, are we? Which is kind of disappointing, I suppose. But Happy New Year, anybody, ladies and gentlemen. How are we all doing? You all right? Welcome to another edition of the RGM Experience podcast with me, Carl Maloney, that guy from RGM. And this is a podcast where we delve into the grassroots music industry and beyond, ladies and gentlemen. And what a lovely festive season it's been. As you know, I've changed how we do the podcast and go just straight into the guests recently without bothering you with all these intros and stuff. Do let me know what you'd prefer, actually, in this new year, because I prefer to do what you want, you know. If you prefer me to have a little chat about RGM before the podcasts, or if you want me to go straight into the guests, I might do a poll on Twitter, just to see what you want, actually, thinking about it. But yeah, I'll do whichever you want to do. This week, particularly, the 6th of January as we speak now, I've got a cold, ladies and gentlemen, like the 4th cold of the festive season. Anybody else had that? Reoccurring illness. Yeah, where am I? Yeah, so the 6th of January is when this podcast comes out. And the new year, everybody's still getting their arse in gear, aren't they? Nobody's really organised yet. We're trying to build up some pipeline on RGM at the minute because everything's a bit slow. And it's the same with guests, really. I found it really difficult just to pin somebody down this early in the year to get a brand new episode out for you, ladies and gentlemen. So that's just basically how life is sometimes, isn't it? But when I look back, and I do like to look back, when I do look back, it is quite nice to see and reflect on the year that we've had into. We've been doing that on RGM over the last few weeks, look back over 2024, the top bands, most underrated album. There's loads on RGM for you to look back on if you're arsed. But I just wanted to still bring a podcast out for you, ladies and gentlemen, because we've had a couple of weeks break. And so today, ladies and gentlemen, is a bit of a look back. It's just a few, and I stress just a few. There's loads more of my favourite guests over 2024. So that's what this episode is. It's a bit of a look back and some highlights from the last year. From some, I stress, on my favourite guests. So what you been up to this Christmas, eh? Did you get everything you ever dreamed of? You'll have seen me boring people if you've seen my personal social media accounts where I got some Legos, so I've been doing that. That's nice. I do enjoy that, actually. It gives me a break from my phone and the digital world and just me building stuff. It's quite nice mentally, I find. Get a bit of Lego. So yeah, I've been doing that, keeping my mind occupied. And I've been to a few gigs and all. I went to Tom Megan at the Ritz in Manchester. Had the pleasure of nipping backstage and saying a quick hello to him as well. Hi mate, if you're listening. Tom is one of our guests that appears on this podcast as well today, ladies and gentlemen. And I did go to one of the lottery winners' gigs. The lovely Harriet Rose helped me out with a bit of a guest list ticket. So thanks for that, Harriet. She was supporting the lottery winners on the Friday of their trio of gigs at Manchester Academy, which looked amazing. The Saturday and the Sunday, they had big guests like Boy George, Robbie Williams, and all that kind of stuff. And on the Friday, I really, really loved it. I saw Tommy Smith again, not seen him for ages. Obviously, Harriet opened the show, and she was fantastic. Thanks again for the tickets, mate. Lottery winners were absolutely amazing, proper on good form. And they had my mate who we had on, Johnny Blade. They got Johnny Blade up on stage and did a song with him and all that kind of stuff. And that was just lovely to see. We had Johnny on the latest RGM live show in Manchester recently. And he's a lovely lad. He's got a lot of talent, so that's nice. And it was just nice to see him play a couple of tunes at Manchester Academy in front of thousands of people. So yeah, just in RGM, we are, as I say, we are building up pipeline at the minute. We can't really bring out more than 2 or 3 things a day at the minute because things are slow while it picks up. We know this is going to happen though. Basically, we're going to have a lot more coming out over the coming weeks. It's just a bit slow at the minute. So I won't bore you with all the rest of the information that I know about that because it's not very interesting. So let's crack on with the best of podcast for you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll stop winging and wanging on. We do start off with Jessica Greenfield today, one of Noel Gallagher's high-flying birds. And she tells a story about how she got in the band and her journey in music and as a mom in music too. Then we've got the boy Andrew Cushion coming up. Tom Megan, as I mentioned. The lovely Ian Prowse, what an interesting guy he is. And Phil from the Twang, Phil Etheridge. So these are just a few highlights looking back over 2024. There might be another one next week. I'm not sure yet. I don't know how this week's going to go or how it's going to pan out with getting guests involved. There's loads of things bubbling. Just nothing's recorded at the minute, so I don't want to jinx out. But if I can't get out, then I'll come and say hello again next week. Yeah. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us on for another week here at the RGM Experience podcast in a new year in 2025. And let's do it. Let's start off with Jessica. Take it away, mate.
Because I knew at this point that Paul had worked a lot with Noel and he'd been in Oasis. And he said to me, oh, Noel's looking for a singer, a female singer for his band that can play a bit of keys and a bit of percussion. And I've put you forward. How do you feel about that? And I was like, what? Like I almost spat my tea out. He was like, you got to keep it on the down low because, you know, he might change his mind. You just don't know.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And I was like, fucking hell. What? And then, like a few weeks went past. Oh yeah, that's right. So he told Noel, then I got an email from Noel saying, I've been speaking to Paul. He's told me about you. Would you be interested in this? Like, you know, joining this band, coming on tour. But let's meet up first so we can just sort of like get to know each other. So I went to his office shaking. Like the only time I'd ever felt like that was when I did my driving test.
Okay.
I was absolutely shitting myself.
Yeah.
Went to his office. I met him and he was so lovely. We got on really well. And he just said that meeting, do you want to come on tour? Yeah. Do you want to come to America? Yeah. There wasn't, I didn't have to sing in front of him. It was just like, yeah. He trusted Paul's opinion so highly that was enough. So before you knew it, I said, unfortunately, I had to say to John, look, I've just got this gig with Noel Gallagher's Flying Birds.
Wow.
And he said, okay, great. Well, that's great for you, you know. Yeah. And
there you go. Well, I was having a little nosy on Instagram, and I've seen you flying all over the world and stuff and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That looks like good work. But as a mum, how's that? You know, being on tour as a mum and having, you know, other people to look after as well as your career.
Yeah, it's the biggest challenge, I would say. And when I first joined Noel's band, I didn't have a child. So, you know, you're totally fancy free. There's no worries. You haven't got to, you know, think about childcare or anything like that. And I got pregnant during the pandemic. No, just before the pandemic. And I had her during the second lockdown. So there was a big chunk of time where I didn't have to worry about having to go on tour. But as soon as I had her, my biggest fear was, how am I going to manage motherhood and touring, and touring? Like, I don't even know how that's possible. And my husband is also a musician. So, you know, what are we going to do? But do you know what? I mean, my husband is absolutely amazing. I couldn't do this job without him because he has sacrificed so much time to look after her. And when I've gone on tour, you know, he's come on tour. He drove around America for a month with his friend so that I could be with her. I mean, it's just mind-blowing to me that he's just incredible. But it's very challenging. And the biggest challenge is that, you know, she sees me for like a day or two and then I'm gone again. It's very confusing for her. And she's only 3.5. it's tiring. You know, when you're on tour, you have to be on.
Yeah.
And then you have to come home and then be a mum.
Yeah.
And it's like you're still sort of coming down off that tour, but you're still having to, it's very weird.
I can imagine.
It's very, very weird.
In fact, I can't imagine. I can't. I'm not a parent.
No,
I'm not a parent, so I can't imagine it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
Yeah.
But what I will say to any mums or musician mums, or, you know, that it is possible. You just have to have an incredible support network, number one.
Nice.
And I think you have to be really open and honest with your child about exactly what you're doing. You know, she's seen me gigging, so it's not like I don't know what mummy does.
Yeah.
You know, she's seen it. But I think you have to be really honest and open with your child.
It's definitely something they'll find very cool when they're a bit older, though, won't they? When,
I hope so.
When she's at school and her friends' mum and dads are just like insurance people and that. And, well, my mum did all that.
Yeah, well, I hope so. I hope she's not like, fucking hate music because it took my mum.
I can't imagine that. But I was going to ask you how the Noel thing happened. So you've already told us about that. That's interesting that he just trusted you, just like that. You didn't have to do any more than that.
I think he must have seen some videos of me.
Right. Okay.
I think he must have done.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He trusted Paul's, judgment. He's called Paul Strange Boy Stacey. If anyone has ever heard his name, Strange Boy Stacey. I've got him to thank for it, really.
So you got this email off Noel. You said yes, obviously. And then so what was your first experience of being around the High Flying Birds then? Was there rehearsals and stuff before?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, of course. Yeah.
The first experience was I walked into, it was called Music Bank. Yeah. It was down in like London Bridge way. And I walked into this huge room. It was the first time I'd ever experienced like high level production. Yeah. You know, massive rehearsal room. And the other thing was, when I first met Noel, he said, do you have in-ears? You know, proper in-ear molds. And I didn't. Yeah. I just had like generic in-ear monitors. And he said, right. And he called out to someone in the office and said, can we get Jess's in-ear molds made? Yeah. And I was like, fucking hell, this is incredible.
Here we go.
Like this, here we go.
Here we go. Yeah.
And so that, like, I had my molds and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It was like walking into like a dream.
Yeah. And was there other people there that were like you, that were like there for the first time, or were you the only one that was brand new?
Well, funnily enough, Gem Archer was new in this setup because he'd only done Oasis before. He'd never done High Flying Birds. Yeah. So we were both new to it. Right.
But Gem obviously had that relationship with Noel in Oasis, didn't it?
Yeah.
So you were like the proper brand new one.
Yes, probably brand new. Okay. But Gem hadn't worked with Russ, the bass player, or I don't think he'd worked with.
The drummer played for Oasis as well, didn't he?
Yeah, Chris. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah. Amazing. It was just amazing. It was just amazing. Yeah. Really amazing.
So what was the first song that you rehearsed, William? Was it something mad like Don't Look Back in Anger and it's just like, fucking hell, I can remember playing this at a wedding?
No, it wasn't. I think it must have been one of his new songs.
Right, okay.
It could have been Holy Mountain.
Oh, right.
Which is from his, the penultimate album. Yeah. The one that was the one before the last one. I think it was Holy Mountain.
What's it like to be Andrew Cushing at the minute? Just having all these things going on. It must be nice, mate. You must be enjoying yourself.
A lot of hangovers, mate. A lot of hangovers.
Fair enough.
Yeah, a lot of hangovers. There's a lot of wine club going on.
Oh, right.
Other than that, it's pretty cool though. And I'm running out of sunglasses as well.
Okay.
So it's not a perfect time to be me at the minute. I could do with some more sunglasses.
Okay, fair enough. Why? What's happening to you? What keeps happening to your sunglasses?
I just lose them. Just leave them around. I lose everything around. Okay. It's ridiculous, man. And like the boys have stopped worrying now whenever I say I've lost something, because I do find it in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I did lose me gym pass.
Yes.
I lost my gym pass, which I needed to get a shower on this tour. I left that in a service station or something. Last time I was here, I lost my passport. I've just got to stop losing things.
Right. Okay.
I lose everything.
Okay.
Everything I own, I lose at some point.
Well, that's all right. And you've obviously had your debut album as well. That's come out in the meantime as well. So I can't see anybody hitting it as hard as what you are, mate. You know, do you need to lie down? Are you still all right with it all? How are you? I'm only thinking of you, mate. I'm just checking you all right.
No, no, mate. I love it, man. I'm loving it. Yeah. Like, this is just, it's everything I wanted to do for the last few years. Do you know what I mean? So now that I've got the opportunity to gig, I'm certainly not going to sit down and, you know, go to bed at 9 o'clock. I want to just keep on working, keep on grafting. And, you know, you mentioned the album and stuff coming out, but like the second album's written and I'm halfway through writing the third album. I just want to keep on working. I just want to see how big I can take this, you know?
Yeah. How do you look back on releasing your first album? How does it feel to you to look back on that experience now?
I don't know. I don't, because it only took about 2 weeks, I think, to record that first album. It was all done pretty quickly, and it's like it was a great experience. I went to Rockfield, and you know, we've got some great memories tied in with doing the album. And there was like loads of honest points, and there was a lot of laughs. And Dave Erringer's an absolute gent. I absolutely love that bloke. So it was great. Like, I don't really know the path to go to record a second album because it was all brand new the last time. I think I've learned a lot in like the marketing side and stuff of it, and you know, the installs and really pushing pre-sales and saves of the album and stuff. So I know a little bit more about that now. But the recording kind of flew over with that first record. It really did.
Yeah. So how did you get what you wanted from it?
Oh yeah. But I think I said everything that I needed to say, everything that I was feeling. Like songs like 4.5%, and Just Like You Want Me To, and Probably I Want You to Be There. You know, they're all pretty poignant subject matters, aren't they? And it was all something that I wasn't just singing about it because it was trendy or anything. It was like, it was all stuff that I'd been through. So I had to say that. And the way that we'd done it in the record I think we'd done it in the perfect way. I think we showcased the art of it, and still the vulnerability side of my singing and lyric as well. So I think we've done it justice. What do you think?
Yeah. No, well, I bought the vinyl, mate, and I adored it. Yeah, of course I did. Yeah, don't mess about. You got to support the boys, haven't you? Well,
you got to support them.
When you finished the Louis tour, right at the end, you had your first headline gig in New York. I was arriving early in New York early that day, and I was gonna come to the gig, but I got to New York and had 2 hours in bloody customs, and then got to my hotel and realised I didn't have a room. So sorry, mate, I couldn't quite catch that one, but I'm going to try and get another one sometime over there.
Yeah, I'm just sharing excuses if I'm being honest. If you couldn't be asked to come, just say it. You know
It really wasn't.
There's no point hiding behind lack of hotel rooms.
I'm really still gutted about it, to be honest with you, and just having customs and getting into America.
Mate, do you know what? It was an amazing gig, that first one, because it was off the back of all them shows, and we were expecting nobody to turn up, and I think we got about 140 people in that room that night.
Are you a bit more conscious of what you put out on your socials? Because I enjoyed watching you get the shits in different American places, to be honest with you.
You enjoyed me getting the shits?
Well, that's what you used to say. That is weird. That is a weird thing to say, thinking about what I've just said. No, but you used to put it on your socials, didn't you? You used to say your belly's rumbling and stuff.
I don't know, man. I don't know what on earth was going on with my stomach, but yeah, it wasn't right. Like, it wasn't right. It really wasn't. Really wasn't. I don't know why I'm admitting this on an interview. No, being a little bit conscious. Well, listen, we've got more people following and stuff now, and it's. You know, I'm still a young lad from Newcastle and all that, and I still like to have a laugh. Yeah. Try to be a little bit more professional with it and stuff now, I think. Do you know what I mean? There's a time to have a laugh and all that, and there's a time to be a little bit stupid on social media. But at the end of the day, I'm there to sing on. I'm not there to tell jokes. So I can't constantly tell the world that I'm going to shit myself. Sometimes I do need to put a song out as well.
That's funny. That's just very chuckle. That's funny. So how have you developed as a frontman then? After you say you've been on the road for a while with Star Sailor, even before this one, how do you feel you developed as a front man, honing your craft?
Honing my craft. It was a tough thing to get used to, playing a few songs without the guitar. You know, that was pretty tough.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Watching Louis
what do you do with your hands and shit?
Yeah, well, I was like watching when we were on the Louis shows in the States and Europe. Like I watched a lot of them shows, and he's an amazing frontman. Like he's really, really good. You know what I mean? He really knows how to like maneuver around the stage and all that. It's really good to watch. So probably watching a little bit of that, and then having a little bit. I suppose I've got my own cocky swagger, I suppose you could call it. Yeah, the lads are nodding with that one. Yeah, it's just trying to find my own style, but I'm always more comfortable with the guitar, of course I am. But in terms of being a front man, I don't know, man. I don't know. I still do a little bit of banter. Rich is the MD now as well, so he's planned the full show, and we've worked the show now where I don't have to talk after every song. Do you know what I mean? Because there is always a danger of it becomes a little bit of a comedy show when I start talking, because I just end up rattling off, jokes and stupid stories. So. We've got a fine line, I think, between banter on stage and transitions into songs and all that kind of stuff. There's nothing choreographed. There's no choreograph.
No.
I mean, not yet, anyway.
Not yet.
Not until I learn how to do the splits.
So where do you get your jackets from, mate? It's a bit of a silly question, but I see you in all these big mad bastard jackets, and I just think, where do you get them from, pal? I just wanted to ask.
I've got a really bad fetish. It's vintage.
Oh, okay. Vintage, yeah.
I've got to stop it. Yeah. You can find some amazing stuff on vintage, but just keep cheap prices. It's not, it's just not about the designer or whatever. Just have a little look. I type in fur coats and see what comes up. And, like,
oh, right, okay. So I'll have that.
Yeah, Carl, and you have a little bidding war with them. Sometimes I get upset, sometimes you win, but I'm hooked on vintage cars. It's a nightmare. Fucking nightmare. I keep buying my wife dressing gowns.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, that's nice.
Right, it's fucking summer.
What do you do on your downtime then? Because I think I've just turned into a bit of an addict on Amazon. I've moved house recently and I just keep treating myself to stuff, and I have to stop. But what do you do in your downtime?
Do you know what, Carl? My dad, it's some holidays. I've had a lot of my daughter, Carl, and the kids and that. So I've been taking my daughter pictures and things. And my wife works in education, so she's got 6 weeks off. So she's off with me. Yeah. So we've just been doing things with the kids. We've got 4 girls, Carl.
Have you? Oh, wow. 4 girls. Wow. Okay.
4 girls and two bold cats.
Wow.
Big sphinxes.
I've got 2 cats.
Female.
I've got 2 cats, no kids, but a wife in education as well.
And I've got a wife as well, Carl. So at least I'm protected. Everyone's female in the house, Carl. Yeah. So it's fantastic. The oldest, my oldest stepdaughter, Kari, she's got a boyfriend's really, really nice, Sam. And I can speak to someone about football. I can speak to someone. I can talk to someone that cares about things I care about. I'm not talking to the wall on my own.
Have you met him all sport Leicester?
Oh, he's a Leicester lad, bless him. Yeah, they're all Leicester. Yeah, of course, Carl. Yeah, I was saying it's really, really nice. I was talking about Adidas Predators to him, and the girls were like, "What are you talking about?" I said, it's nice to talk. Someone else.
Yeah, that's
fucking nice. Hell. Are you afraid? I suppose rock and roll bands will come around again. I hope they do, Carl, reinvent themselves. They always will. But where? Yeah. Because since the noughties, Carl, since when I was out and when we had that, we had Britpop, right, which was amazing, which was like changed everything. But then we had the noughties, right, and then ever since then, I don't know. I mean, it's just all corporate, isn't it? It's all just big names, like I don't know.
It does feel like the industry, or particularly the recording companies out there, are just scared of signing personalities as well. They just don't.
Yeah, but I tell you what, though, Carl. I tell you what, I think the Libertines are banging, mate. I think the Libertines, their new single, mate, is fantastic. Wow, man, what a band as well. And they're still doing it, man. Yeah. That's a great single, the Libertines, man.
Yeah. We covered they've had an album out as well, haven't they? A new album out.
Yeah, man, it's banging.
They got to number one. They got to number one. I forgot about that.
Yeah, fair play to them, man. Libertines are great, man. Carl Barrett, man. We could back me and Carl.
Any stories of you and Carl that you'd like to share?
Oh, mate, listen, I've got plenty, mate. But listen, how long do you want?
Just one story, one little story.
No, it's not me. It's not really a story. Just, I suppose there's one time, man, we were at the NME show. Weirdly enough, we were doing an acoustic show, Sabian were. Carl Barrett turned up. And so you're doing, Tom, we was talking about, he was saying how he's like the Clash and we were like Led Zeppelin. And I went, fucking spot on with that. I said, you are spot on, and pure respect. And then we just kind of spoke and talked in our little corner all night, as you do. Yeah. And we spoke about amazing rock and roll and about the industry and things all night. I mean, I've met Cole loads of times. I've met Pete those times, but and what's going to say? I know Captain, the drummer, he's amazing. The Libertines, you call him Captain. I love him. Love the drummer, man. Gary, oh my God, he's one of the soundest, most amazing. Yeah, man. But we come at me, we're on the same time as them. You know, I remember I see Cole loads and that. You know, I've got lost. Listen, I can't tell any stories. Yeah,
I know you won't be able to. But
don't worry, I've got a book coming when I'm 50 years old. It'll blow your fucking mind. Trust me, I've got another 7 years to wait. Well, hey, Carl, I'll be 50 in 7 years.
Mate, I'll be 50 in 4 years. Right, laugh, innit?
Don't, Carl, pack it in. It's too much. Don't, please.
I know it's there in your background, isn't it?
There was no such thing as the Scouse accent up until the Irish famine flooded the city with refugees. The whole north end of the city was a refugee camp in 1847, and the collision of all those different people coming in with the indigenous people who were already here created a brand new authority and way of thinking, way of speaking, which would be called Scouse, for want of a better word.
Interesting, just like in different pockets of the country where there's certain elements of the community that are scared of people coming from over there coming here. Yeah. In it just like frustrating and a bit weird about, and I don't know what they're scared of. They're watching the news too much.
I know, and it's a bizarre thing, because I was brought up or came of age, in the 80s. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm 16, 17 as the 80s kicked off. Yeah. So we had like the Falklands War, and then we had the miners' strike, and we had Margaret Thatcher throughout it. So we were deeply politicized. Yeah. And I remember vividly that back then racism, was the orthodoxy. So you'd hear racist words all of the time. That was what people used it without any shame or whatever. It was just peppered in everyday language, and it was the orthodoxy. And since then, over time, it's become unorthodox to say those words. And there's obviously a reaction against it now. They would call it woke, they'd be, oh, I'm not woke, and we hate woke things and all this sort of stuff. So I've seen that change, but I was politicized really by the miners' strike. So I'm part of that when you're young and becoming aware of socialist ideals and thought, and you read The Ragged Trousered Philanthropist, and all the rest of it. And you become like a bit of an activist. And so I'd argue with people constantly in pubs about racism. If somebody said the N word or the P word or whatever, I'd argue with them as a young, as a teenager, 16, 17, 18. And so all of these things that we, again, talking about now, it's weird that it just keeps coming round again. So I find myself, again, having the same old bloody arguments, about it. And
it's like woke, isn't it? The word woke, you used to be like, if you call someone woke, it's like they're a bit cool and that. But now it's been politicized quite a lot, that word, and means different things, and that word's changing its meaning. And
but if I hear somebody ranting against woke, then you know where they're coming from, don't you? You know what? If you're going to scratch the surface, you're going to find your traditional racist, basically. Just below that, you know what I mean? If they're so vociferous about it, you could have a discussion about maybe that bit's gone too far or this or that. But the basics of it is, it's not right and correct to use language which insults, black people or Asian people or disabled people. You're not going to say some of those words that we used to say about disabled people, because it is wrong and it's horrible. And I will, I'll argue that we should be much more respectful. And as a society, we grow better if we don't talk about people like that.
And it doesn't help the language from those fucking Tories, even just this week, does it? Even coming from right from the top.
Yeah, exactly. And when people say Tories these days, and obviously here in Liverpool, and it kind of began with Jamie Webster, God bless him, but it certainly comes up. It comes up in our gigs a lot of the time as well, with people singing, fuck the Tories, and it becomes a thing. and then that spreads around, and Tory is almost a dirty word across the board now. I include Keir Starmer in that,
right,
and Rachel Reeves. They're Tories to me. I find them as every bit as disagreeable as I find the Tories, because they're just the Tory B team to me. So I'm fighting the battle on that front as well. And I know that, and that's an interesting thing in itself, isn't it? I'm like my age now. I've been doing this a very, very long time. And at the next election, I won't be voting Labour, and that'll be the first time that I've never done that.
How do you look back on your career and where you are now? How do you look back on how it's been?
The thing is about all of the models of getting on in the music industry, all of them, there's a common thread, a baseline to it all, is you've got to be good. Yeah. You've still got to be good, whether it be the major deal, the cottage industry, the major indie deal, the whatever. You've got to be good, because you can't force human beings to get their money out the pocket to buy either your CDs or vinyl, or to get up off the couch and go out the door and go and watch you. Yeah. You've got to be good. You can't blag people to do that. Yeah. And that's the bottom line. And I find that it's much better for me personally these days as an artist, as a songwriter and a musician, because I enjoy it so much more, because you're not full of fear if you are any good. Yeah. When you're 25 and you're waiting to see if the NME what they're gonna say in their review, you're full of, we're great, this, that, we're a great band, because you're young and you're supposed to be like that. You're supposed to be like Liam Gallagher and say we're the greatest band ever. But really, at the bottom of your mind, at the back of your mind, you don't know. It's bravado, and then you get to this position where I am now, 30 years later, and you realize, if I wasn't any good, I'd gonna have had to get a job at some point, So you appeal to enough people for it to be your living, and that makes me feel much calmer and at ease with the whole thing. So I enjoy it so much more now. You don't bullshit to yourself more than anything. You can do it, and I take it really seriously. I take the art, the craft of songwriting really seriously. I don't want to repeat myself. I want to do something slightly different every time you put out a new album or something. And I want to learn. I want to get better, and all of those things. So for me now, I've been saying this lately. It's like the tortoise and the hare. A lot of my contemporaries kind of went, and had big hits and everything. And we didn't have the big hits. We had the minor hits. And I just slowly plodded around the track, and it's got to this point now, at this point in my life, whereby it's as great as it's ever been.
I still feel the same. You play somewhere like the Ritz, I still feel the same as I did when I first walked in there. It's like so many bands that I've adored over the years have trod those boards, and I still feel that it's amazing that I'm doing it as well. Do you know what I mean? That I'm getting to do it, and it's beautiful, man. They're memories, aren't they? And I will have life's about making memories, isn't it? And I'm trying to do more nowadays than I did is almost take a snapshot in my mind of of the gigs that I can remember, because I think early doors, I was just in a whirlwind of whatever and not really taking it all in. But now it's like every time I get off a tour bus or and we finish a tour, and those tour blues, I realise that you might not get to do it again. You just don't know, do you? So whereas I think you feel invincible until you have kids, basically. And I think that I know that things can change so quickly. So I'm trying to sound all zen and that, but I'm trying to enjoy it. Right now for what it is right now, and right now we're happy and we've been together today and everyone's having a laugh and the tunes sound good and same old, taking a piss out of each other, and it's all good. It's how it was and how it should be. but I guess that's where I've changed, you know, over the 15 years, that it's not as, you know, it's not as argumentative as it was.
Okay, fair.
You know?
So is it more important to you to live in the moment a little bit more now? Because I'm trying to do that in my little world, and I'm not very good at it. You know, I'm always moving on to the next thing quickly, and that's that. I've reached that thing, and now I'm doing that. You know, just to slow down a bit and appreciate where you are and appreciate what you've got sometimes as well.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, 100%. I mean, I'm sure everyone's aware, but you know, what John's been through the last couple of years, you know, it makes you realise, you know, how fragile life is, and how, you know, and you can't not have something like that happen to, you know, someone close to you, that it has a big effect, you know, and you do. I think, but then, and there's also the thing of, like, you know, having kids and stuff, your mortality, you know, you start questioning it, don't you? You can't just, you know, it's where before, you know, you could, I did just not care, you know, I didn't question any, you know, I just used to do whatever. And, you know, you've got to keep yourself healthy and sane for those little ones, ain't you? Do you know what I mean? Definitely. So I definitely basically, I've definitely read a few fucking self-help books. Do you know what I mean? as what's happened over time. But I tell you, I go running with my mate. We go like away, like Napoli. We've been like loads. Nice. We've done like, we do these little like trips in Europe and do like, you know, it's like a healthy, unhealthy weekend. And I got on the plane with him. I think, was it because we've just done Porto, but we did Napoli in February. We did Porto in September, and we did Napoli in February. I remember getting on the plane with him in Napoli, and we both like put our little rucksacks down, pulled out a book to read on the plane, and we both had like fucking basically self-help books, you know. Right, okay. And we looked at each other and we were like, what the fuck has happened? And we come to the conclusion as well that in a way, those books make you more paranoid after, and they can help, but they also kind of, because I liked it when I didn't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? But you can't not give a fuck forever, can you? You know, you've got to kind of sort, you know, or maybe you can. This is the thing that I'm trying to question. I think I'm jealous of those people that truly don't give a, you know, most people pretend they don't, you know, but I'm kind of jealous of that. But then to get stuff done, and to, you know, to get stuff done, you got to care, ain't you? And to do it of a level, you know, and to do it of a level. And sorry, I've just had chicken and chips and I'm burping like a mad.
Right.
Oh, get it out. Self-help.
Well, you said something there, you'll pack it in if things start to be fake. What do you mean by fake? What examples have you seen around you?
If I feel on stage, like if I question what I'm doing and I start thinking about it, I'm gonna knock it. That's my promise to myself.
Right.
I don't want to just wheel it out if it's like, you know. That's why I think that I feel that about that each gig, you know, you never know if it could be your last gig. I know this is a bit dark, it's a bit deep in it, but you know, you don't know if it's going to be the last time that you all feel like that, or if something happens and, you know, to any one of you, and you just, you know, and that's the end of it or whatever. Yeah, that's all that is.
Yeah, no, I get it, and it must be something that's on your mind and that kind of stuff. And you know what is around the corner, nobody knows, do they?
Yeah, but I mean, at the moment, I don't think the last few tours have been so, you know, like last December was so joyous that, you know, we were definitely gonna, you know, book some more shows, and you kind of book these shows, you know, a year in advance almost. You know, you kind of, you know, they're coming. And the years just fly though, don't they, man? It's fucking.
I know.
I said it. You know, it's bin day before you know it, basically, isn't it? It's Tuesday night again. You put in the bins, and you're thinking, "Fuck it, where's that week gone?" You know. And I think that with the years, you know, it's like summer, it's winter again, and you've got your big coats out again, and it's like the years just fly. And I think you got to try and fill them with as much fun and as much memories as possible. Yeah. And that for me, and that, you know, includes doing Twang shows because they're you know they're great moments.
All right, there we go. A little delve into last year, into the archives. There are full episodes for each guest available in the archives for you to listen to the full interviews as well. And while you're there, have a look around. There's going to be loads more that you'll find interesting, I hope. So yeah, big thank you for joining us this year, Jessica Greenfield, Andrew Cushion. Hope to speak to him again because he's got a new album out coming out soon, hopefully. Tom Megan. We do have his album review ready. It's been delayed a couple of times over the last few weeks, but it's definitely out on the 24th of January, so you will see our interview and album review of Tom's album. I have heard it, and it is good. I promise you. Thanks to Ian Prowse, an amazingly interesting guy. And Phil from the Twang, lovely stuff. All had great chats with him and really enjoyed speaking to him, so that's why I picked him out. We'll do the same next week, I think. As I say, I don't really know yet. But thanks for joining us for another week here at the Our German Experience podcast anyway. Looking back over 2024, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've had a lovely festival season. I know it can bring out a lot of anxiety for people that don't have a lot of people around them or struggle at this time of year. So to you guys too, I wish you all the best with dealing with it all. But we are in the new year now. Let's crack on. We've got loads of good stuff coming up. And from me, Carl Maloney, that guy from RGM, I wish you all the best. Happy New Year and all that kind of stuff. And I'll see you down the road. I'll see you at a gig. I'll see you online. Say hello wherever you are. And we'll see you again next week for a lovely episode. Hopefully lovely. Self-praise is no praise and all that. We'll see you for another episode of the RGM Experience podcast. I'll see you soon. Toodle-oo.
Hello. Did you know that you can support our podcast in many ways? Within the description of this podcast, you will see a list of all the equipment that we use. These are Amazon affiliate links. Clicking on these links take you to Amazon. If you buy whatever you're planning that week, we get a small kickback and you get a parcel at no extra cost. We would really appreciate your support. Or you can just go old school and donate £1 or whatever you feel is appropriate in there. Please subscribe, tell a friend about our show, and thank you for your support, and we'll see you next week.
Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my little studio. We're just having a look around. This is where I record loads of good chats. And you know that already because you've just finished one. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed it, have a look around. Look at this. There's different videos all around here. New videos that you can enjoy too. I promise you it'll be alright. Nice one. Thanks for tuning in again, guys. See you soon.